The Minnesota Vikings are in a very peculiar place. They have arguably the best running back in the league with Dalvin Cook. They have a great receiving core with Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen, but they have been on a steady decline since the 2017-2018 season when they went 13-3. Their defense has gotten a lot worse and so has their offensive line, but the main storyline of their offseason was them going and getting a quarterback early in the third round in Kellen Mond. So this naturally leads us to have a lot of questions. Is this showing us that the Vikings are heading in a new direction? How soon? How good is Kirk Cousins actually? And should he really be scared about losing a spot? And to me, this is significantly different than Kyle Trask being taken 2 spots ahead of Kellen Mond to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because the Buccaneers almost have no holes to fill on their team. So they can take a quarterback to groom and play behind Tom Brady for however long he can keep playing. But the Vikings have a lot of holes on their team. So right off the bat, they're telling me that they see the quarterback position as a hole on their team. Before we talk about Kellen Mond, we need to talk about Kirk Cousins, and what I've been thinking for years was perfectly stated in this quote. Kirk Cousins' stats in the previous NFL season are as followed: 4,265 yards, 68% completion percentage, 35 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. These are impressive stats, but they do not match the eye test. If you watched the Minnesota Vikings play a game last season, you experienced one of the most frustrating quarterback seasons in recent memory. I could not think of a better way to describe Kirk. Every time I throw on a Vikings game, I see a passive quarterback who seems to have to be carried or elevated by teammates. If the Vikings don't have a good rushing attack any given game, it rarely feels like Kirk can carry them to a win. I think last year was by far his worst year with the Vikings, but the stats don't show that. If you want to argue statistics, it's almost impossible to say that Kirk Cousins is a bad quarterback. He puts up monster numbers and is statistically one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and the payday would also reflect that as well. But what gives? Well, I have some numbers for you. Kirk is 7-31 as a starter against teams with a winning record, 3-8 with his time in the Vikings. We also know his struggles in primetime games. At one point, he lost 9 out of 10 primetime games. So why is he so good statistically? Well, it reminds me a little bit of Dak Prescott. When you have a quarterback who gets the majority of his yards and touchdowns late in the third and in the fourth quarter when the game is already out of reach, these numbers should have an asterisk next to them. But even though Dak was statistically having some insane seasons, especially last year, people still didn't see him as a top 10 quarterback, and why the Cowboys thought he wasn't worth $40 million for so long. Because even with all those numbers in the second half, they were only 1-3 with all the weapons they had on offense. But if you hear the words, if we're going to lose, we're going to make sure the quarterback wins it. We can't let Dalvin beat us, or we can't let Zeke beat us. That is a huge slap in the face to the quarterback. They don't trust him, and I'm starting to think that the Vikings themselves don't trust him either. There's this effect that Brady has always had. Mahomes, Rodgers, and Russell Wilson have it too. When the game is close and any one of those guys steps on the field, everyone on their team and everyone watching at home just knows they're going to pull it off somehow. That has to be such a warming feeling for a player, knowing that they can trust their quarterback in the most key situations. And whether Kellen Mond is a better quarterback or not doesn't matter nearly as much as the morale change and the culture that the team could have if they have confidence in their most important player. We do this a lot in politics. When we have a president that we don't like or we have a lot of problems with, the next president tends to be the exact opposite of the one we just had. And Kellen Mond is the exact opposite of Kirk Cousins. He is young, he has an explosive arm, he throws into tight windows with confidence, and he's mobile. Everything Kirk Cousins is not. I do have a lot of issues with Kellen Mond. A lot of times he looks super stiff with his arms, doesn't look like there's any rhythm. He keeps 2 hands on the ball with his arms locked in place. It looks unnatural, and there's a few things like this is why he wasn't a first rounder. But I'm here to argue that the switch from Kirk to Kellen needs to happen at some point during the season, unless the Vikings are somehow doing exceptionally well, because nothing is more important than believing in your quarterback, and I have very little confidence in the Vikings' success as long as they have Kirk and the team doesn't think that he can rise above adversity anymore. But why Kellen Mond, and why so soon? Well, why so soon is because the division is wide open and it has a ton of question marks. We have no idea what the Packers situation looks like. It looks very doubtful that Rodgers is going to make a return, so that leaves them with first-year starter Jordan Love. The Lions are in full rebuild mode and aren't looking to win right now, but rather build a healthy team from scratch for the future. And the Bears will also more than likely be starting a rookie quarterback if they choose to go with Justin Fields over Andy Dalton, which I think they will. But Kellen Mond has the most experience out of any rookie quarterback in this year's draft class. He was a 4-year starter with Texas A&M and had his best season in his senior year, where he led his team to the 5th ranked team in the nation, only having 1 loss to Alabama, the future national champions. He could go on and be the dynamic quarterback and pick up big third downs with his legs and get the team and crowd excited. He was the MVP of the Senior Bowl and showed a lot of potential with his ability to run and throw the ball, especially in a system that he just learned. But why I think this needs to happen is because it's really a win-win situation. If Kellen Mond comes in and changes the energy of the team and gets them excited for the future and can win some close games, it's a genius move. But if he struggles, you can kind of see it as a situation where you don't fully know what you have until it's gone. This could light the fire under Kirk Cousins by benching him, and the team would also realize, oh, he is the best guy for our team's success, and that would only help the team as well. Either way, I think the Vikings were very open with their Kirk Cousins concerns by getting a quarterback that early in the draft. But what do you think the Vikings should do? Do I think Kellen Mond is a better quarterback than Kirk Cousins? No, I do not. But I don't think that's important because they need to believe in someone. They need to believe that they can win close games, and they want someone that can go out there and is going to get the job done. I don't think the Vikings believe in Kirk Cousins anymore, and I think that is a huge deal, and it can't go understated. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure to like the video if you like videos like these. Make sure to comment down below what you think about the Vikings and when do you think they should make the switch to Kellen Mond, if not at all. And make sure to subscribe if you enjoy daily sports content. I appreciate all the support, guys. It really helps out so much. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you all tomorrow. Peace!